Thank you for joining us. I am Dan Mabe. I am the founder and president of the American Green Zone Alliance. And we have a very special guest, a longtime valued colleague that I would like to introduce, Richard Ogawa from TOWA Tools and Gardenland. Richard, would you like to quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, Dan. Dan and I have been kind of working together on the whole battery space, 12, 13 years ago when all there was were lead acid batteries and a bunch of crazy wires everywhere. Where it's kind of evolved over these kind of past dozen years has come an extreme long way. So I appreciate us continue working on this adoption into battery.
Yeah, thank you very much for that, Richard, and thank you for being a part of our third quarter webinar.
Yep.
Definitely the theme today is going to be charging and charging infrastructure. AGZA will start first. We're going to be giving some case studies of some of the charging setups in our AGZA certified green zones, which utilize TOWA tool technology. And then we're going to hand it over to Richard and learn about the things that they're doing to help this industry usher along with the transition from gas to electric. Okay, so I'm just going to pull up my screen share first. Thank you, Richard. Okay, we want to do a few special thank yous. One, to the National Association of Landscape Professionals, we are collaborating with for the prudent and responsible transition to electric technologies. Our longtime partner, Quiet Communities, a nonprofit dedicated to lowering noise in communities, and of course, TOWA Tools, who is here as a guest today. And just so people know that this is real, there was a press release that was put out back in 2022 acknowledging and announcing this collaboration with NALP. Also, a really big thank you to our AFTC manufacturers, some going back 10 years, mentioned steel going back 10 years. And then also we want to mention some of our newest manufacturers that have joined the fray. We have to update this picture, but we want to mention that Greenworks is now AFTC certified for their Optimus Z line. And again, if there's any Greenworks people out there, just know that your logo will be added to this page soon. Just to let everybody know, AGZA independently field tests all of these platforms. All of them have to go through a high heat cycle in the Mojave Desert, at least one. And they really go through some very rigorous and robust testing all over the country. And we really feel that when you purchase and invest in these platforms, you have a great chance of achieving a return on your investment, because we know that electric is traditionally higher than the cost of their gas counterparts upfront purchasing. My name again, Dan Mabe, American Green Zone Alliance. AGZA. We are a leader in low impact grounds maintenance strategies. Our mission is to prudently, and I really want to stress prudently, transition the grounds maintenance industry to quieter, more sustainable practices and operations. Applications include municipalities, schools, and residential properties, whether you're a homeowner or you're a gardener that services high volume residential properties. AGZA achieves this in a few different ways. We have three distinct certifications. One is AGZA Green Zone certification, that's property transition. We have certificate training for the professionals who are on the front lines every day in our industry using the tools. And then, as I mentioned prior, a couple of slides, AFTC certification for manufacturers. Okay, so why are we all here? We're asking the question. Back when I decided to go electric, it was for a lot of different reasons. I valued my personal health. I worked in this industry as a very young man. Uh, Under 10 years old, I started in this industry where the man of the house that where I lived was a high volume gardener. And I spent my summers and my weekends doing this line of work. I Again, noise reasons, complaints. I decided for business reasons, a business opportunity to start an all electric business all the way back in 2005, experimenting with the technologies that were on the market then. But we now know there's a lot of pressures on our industry to change into lower impact operations, and battery electric is one of those technologies that people are being asked and sometimes even regulated and by ordinances forced to change into electric technology. And this demand for this change, it's noise, localized pollution issues, climate change and equity causes, some groups. And then there's well-organized citizens groups and nonprofits who have really demanded from our legislators nationwide that our industry really go in this direction. There's a lot of impacts, but that is not disparaging gas operations. AGZA is not anti-gas. AGZA is pro-electric, where it's economically and workload feasible to achieve this work and to ensure that businesses can remain profitable when switching over. And we really demonstrate that you can actually enjoy a broader business model by offering some of these services. But top 10 impacts are here, and noise is the biggest issue. Make no mistake about it. We have the attention of everybody because of the noise that we make while achieving our work. We know here in California, emissions is a big thing. We are very air quality challenged, and we do support the California Air Resources Board for taking action because specifically of our unique air quality challenges here in California. But AGZA does not think that that's a simple copy and paste and that would be able to translate in other areas where they're not as air quality challenged. So you really have to look at the science and the X's and O's and then take action from there. We can tell you, and I can tell you, that vibration of using gas tools for years versus using smoother electric tools is a lot better. And then statistically speaking, we're going to have to say the data is very clear that if electric tool platforms are taken care of, they are going to require much less maintenance than their small engine gas counterparts. So this is sweeping the entire nation, over 200 and counting, some form of restriction, ban, ordinance, and regulation throughout the country. And we don't see this really slowing down. We frown on this approach. There's a lot of citizens groups that are out there that are, we say are very pragmatic and responsible and work with industry to help facilitate this change. But then we are aware of others who disparage our industry and take what we call this pitchforks and torches approach, and we really frown on this. And again, just to hit it home, AGZA really does not want the workforce of our industry demonized if they're using gas tools to make a living. So we have gas engine technology. You look at it right here. I believe this is the diagram of a Briggs & Stratton 3.5 horsepower engine. I use these on my lawnmowers, mini bikes, go-karts. Compared to electric, it is a more inefficient in the way it produces torque. It does require more maintenance and it can be more expensive. Here we have the electric technology, much more simpler, as you can see. You have the battery, you have the controller, which we will also include the BMS, the battery management system in this controller, and it communicates with the motor and tells the tool what to do and how to do it efficiently. It's more simple and it can be more profitable. The caveat is, are you purchasing quality electric tool platforms that have been proven year after year? And then also, are you taking care of these tool platforms with a new mindset and SOP, standard operating procedure, that is going to help these tool platforms realize a return on their investment? And we've seen the worst of it and we've seen the best of it. So we're going to go into some of these case studies. Institutional AGZA certified green zones. And just a brief description of green zone certification. We have 4 different levels. There's just a little description of each level. We have more in-depth descriptions of all of these levels, but basically on specific property, when you decide you want to make that property an AGZA certified green zone, you're going to be phasing out gas tool use, sometimes not all the way, sometimes partially, and then going all the way up to levels 3 and 4, it goes into water-wise irrigation, reduction of conventional pesticides and herbicides, and things like that, and going into certain percentages of natives that are on the property and getting rid of all of the invasives that would be on the property going into levels 3 and 4. Okay, so case studies. Let's start with Greater Chicago area. This is our project with Prologis. Prologis is a global company. They're the leader, and we would have to say number 1 in warehousing, real estate, and logistics. And they decided to bring in AGZA Green Zone certification level 1 for their Greater Chicago market. And they have approximately 4 vendors that service all of their over 400 properties that we certified. And charging infrastructure was challenging. So this is just a diagram of how we approached it. And it shows all those TOWA PDM boxes there because TOWA was very instrumental in helping us get to where we needed to be. Because a lot of these buildings that these vendors run their headquarters out of and store their equipment, they were built in the 70s. They have old infrastructure, and we needed a safe turnkey solution to charge, again, not just 10, 12 batteries. We're talking 30, 40, up to 50 batteries plus. So it was all spread out between the Naperville that you see at the bottom with this company Ground Pros and their Itasca branch. And between these 2 locations, we were able to use the TOWA technology to help us achieve all of the charging needs that we need so far. And just to show it in real life practice, AGZA is boots on the ground. We will go there and we will shadow gas operations. We will inventory gas operations, and then we will determine what the battery to gas tank ratios are for each particular tool. In this case, we had a situation where one individual in this operation was requesting 5, 6 more batteries. Everybody else seemed to be fine, and they were doing very similar areas. So we had to go in there and understand why. And then this is where we're going to tell you, when you do this and you have multiple employees, there's just going to be some employees that are not going to be as efficient as others, and they're not going to adopt this technology and use it judiciously and efficiently as others. So just be prepared that you might have to have more batteries for specific individuals. Managing all those batteries definitely is a challenge. Here's the TOWA PDM in action. This is what we call a 3-stack. We're going to let Richard actually go into this in more detail. But as you can see here, all of these batteries, all of these chargers, they are able to be charged on 120 amp circuit that is dedicated to a 20 amp breaker. Here's another case study example here in Southern California. This is Mount San Antonio College, the first community college in the nation to achieve green zone status. And you can see through the South Coast Air Quality Management District program, they purchased a lot of tools. And they even got a couple of big mean green mowers. And then even Husqvarna Robotics and Nexmo Robotics. So the challenge was, how are we going to charge all of this stuff? Well, first of all, it was such a pleasure to work with Ruben Flores at Mount Sac College and his management, because we were really able to dial this in and do it right. These are examples, exemplary examples, that you have extra security. Everything is open, everything is well organized and placed on trays, if you will. And here's some of the management that we worked with. And behind you, each and every individual worker at the college, those are dedicated storage bays for their equipment. They have their names on it. They have the lock, the key to those locks. And we have found that when you're doing this operationally, with big institutions, lots of workers, that this is a very effective method to dedicate and assign tools, batteries, and chargers to specific workers in an operation. And of course, there's that added security. Okay, safe and responsible charging, how to maximize tool, battery, and charger life cycles. And this is it. TOWA. They are AFTC certified. We actually purchased TOWA at a need. When I had my $80,000 trailer stolen from me, I started to store all of my batteries at my house behind me where I sleep. And I was popping breakers. There was issues, safety issues. So we actually were customers of TOWA. And then in that same vein, we were able to robustly test the TOWA product for the last 4.5 years, I believe. And we're going to go up there, boots on the ground. We're going to visit the headquarters. And this is the same for all of our AFTC brands. We're going to really understand what it is they're doing from top to bottom. This was a visit up to Northern California to really understand and learn about the entire system. And just a few pictures there. Again, we're going to let Richard go ahead and articulate all of the products and how they function. Here's an example of what not to do. This is a 14 gauge homeowner rated extension cord being used, a damaged one at that, being used on a 35 amp charger, if you will. Here's another thing not to do. If you are going to invest in these awesome steel tools that you see here, you're not going to want to treat them like this. These tools were less than 2 years old, and you can see how they were using a homeowner rated extension cord with a power strip. So we're going to see some much better examples of this. This is improved. This is a school district. We're not going to mention who this is. It's not in California, but they decided in an open air room in a cooler environment, they were just going to place their batteries like this. And this is ideal. This is the city of Glendale, California. They are AGZA Green Zone certified, and we help them set up multiple, what we call there, charging pagodas rather than stations. New circuits were put in, and then, of course, the TOWA PDM boxes are utilized at all of these pagoda charging station locations throughout the city. And again, we're just going to stress this is happening more and more. Protect your investment. Batteries are the most expensive proposition of transitioning. So definitely protect everything, but make sure that you have some type of plan to protect yourselves from theft. And then here's an example at one of our cities that even put this in. And then we have to know where all the batteries going. We're happy to really let everybody know that there is now an economy for retrieving and recycling and even repurposing lithium batteries. AGZA has two repurposing projects going. One is at our Green Zone Golf Course in South Pasadena, Arroyo Seco Golf Course. Some used Tesla Model 3 cells were repurposed after it got in an accident, and they were made into batteries and placed inside a greens mower. And we're happy to say that we got nearly 6 years out of that. And then again, end user and manufacturer responsibilities. The way we understand it as end users, let's get those used or damaged batteries back to the dealer, and the dealer will communicate with the manufacturer, who then works with that dealer to retrieve and get these batteries back and place them where they're supposed to be. Okay, that is the end of my slides, and we'll save questions for later. I'm going to stop share, and I want to reintroduce Richard Ogawa. And Richard, I would at this time like to ask you to pull up your presentation, and we look forward to seeing it. Thank you.